AD Ryan Ivey is my guest today on Tech Drive. We discuss the early atmosphere at football games and other fall sporting events, facility enhancements, poison, droids, and how critical it is to have support from all four corners of the tech universe as we look to advance Bulldog and Lady Techster athletics into the future. Strap in, the Tech Drive starts now. Voice of the Bulldogs, Kyle Schasberger, here welcoming you inside the Tech Drive. And we are joined by Vice President and Director of Athletics, Ryan Ivey. Ryan, 4 months ago, it was you grilling me, asking the questions. But here today, the tables have turned.
Yeah, I'm just happy to know you can actually do your job. I was a little worried when we were going through that process, but now we know. So.
This is our second take of this open
That's
and start of the
exactly
podcast
right.
as well. But yeah, if you had any doubts about me and my ability to do the job, what do you think? You don't need to grade me, but I think it's been well received.
Absolutely, it's been great. I've heard nothing but great comments about you, and you carried along Teddy Allen along the way. So
yeah, Teddy's a heavy load. He's working too hard. You know, I'm trying to take things off his plate as best as I can. We're in your suite here at the Joe. You like what we did with the place?
I did, yeah. You guys did good.
How much time do you actually spend in this suite?
Not a lot. I'm going to be honest with you. Game days, I'm pretty much kind of all over the place. We use it for stewardship opportunities, getting to know donors, rewarding those individuals that have helped us along the way. So, but my family's up here a little bit, and so Kelly and the boys are up here. I sneak up here as much as I can, maybe to get a Pepsi Zero or a Dr. Pepper or something along the way as we go through it, and then we'll come up here a little post-game and have some post-game debriefs and just have some chance to kind of relax and have a chance with the staff a little bit.
I thought for a moment there was a mole in here this past weekend, but then it was just a selfie of Matt Nantis sitting where you are. So he was texting me during the broadcast. I'm going to find new ways to get Matt Nantis into every single podcast that we do. So I think he has been referenced.
Nantis is his own type of person. So.
Yes, and he was giving me a whole lot of grief when his Lions really gave it to the Bears this past Sunday. So something I'm not willing to revisit right now. Operation #Paint Ivey, successful. Week 1 out in the kennel. How did you enjoy it?
It was awesome. Had a great time. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was a little apprehensive walking out there because there were probably some things that I shouldn't hear as being the AD. But it was awesome. It was a great experience. I told Sonny after the game, I said, I'm not saying that I should have been player of the game, but we did score 21 points in that quarter when I was there, so I at least should have been honorable mention as we went through it, and it was a lot of fun. Unfortunately, I didn't get as much paint on my face as I wanted to. I was sweating so much, and humidity was so high I couldn't get it to stick, and I was kind of changing as I was going there. So, but had a great time. Students were awesome. Actually, I kind of turned the tables on them while we were sitting out there. I said, hey, what is it that you need to make the student section better? And they kind of looked at me like I had 3 heads, and that might be because they had 6 or 7 beers at the time. I don't know, but
only.
Yeah, but I think we had some good conversations. We got an idea that really kind of percolated from it, and so hopefully we'll be able to get some of those new things for them here fairly soon.
You can't share anything that was said by the
students?
No,
I'm gonna keep that between us. So.
Well, you were in the kennel week 1, enjoying that. The Blue Bloods initiative. That program seems to be working, spectacularly. I'm seeing new videos, even on social, helping to encourage fans to be here. And we saw that on full display this past Saturday. 49-14. The offense was shot out of a cannon. The defense did their thing, just 58 yards allowed in the second half through New Mexico State. It was a complete performance. And with the students fully on campus, you were able to feel that participation.
No question. It was awesome. I think our Blue Bloods program has just been fantastic. Great start. Big shout out to Kyle Cavanaugh and student engagement team and those individuals that really worked tirelessly to get this thing across the finish line and get it started. I mean, when you think about creating an official student organization, there are a lot of hoops that you have to jump through. And I think Kyle and his staff did a great job of getting that done. I think our student leadership did a great job of owning it and buying into it as well. And I think we're, closing in on 900 or so right now registrants for that group. Obviously, that makes it the largest official student organization on campus, which is something to be really, really proud of. And I'd like to see that thing get to 1,200 and 1,500 by the end of the year. And if I need to incentivize them to do something to get there, we can work on that conversation as well. So
We've played 2 home games now at the Joe. How do you feel the whole operation has gone from the perspective of game day ops and the logistics with fans and vendors and more than just the students? We've focused on the students, but fans coming in, community members, those from Northern Louisiana, alums, the entire experience and operation. It's a heavy lift for everyone pulling a rope in the same direction.
There's no question. I mean, I don't think if you've never truly been a part of working a college football game, then I don't think you truly understand the behind the scenes aspect of what it takes to put on a college football game. I think our staff has done a great job. I think our partnerships with our public safety partners have been great as well. You know, we really have focused on the last couple of years of creating this a better fan experience and what that looks like. And part of that, we've listened to our fans. So last year we had our tech talks, and then we obviously did our fan surveys. We did the one after the first game. We did one after this game, and that feedback is valuable. And some of it's good, some of it's positive, some of it's negative, some of it is, was this person watching the same game as the rest of us? But that's okay, right? That's what makes feedback, I think, very valuable. And I think you take all that, you put it together, you aggregate it in ways that hopefully that we can create small wins and small improvements from game 1 to game 2 to game 3, so on and so forth. And I think our staff has done a great job of that. I think we've embraced this aspect that, hey, we need to be fan-centered in what we're doing, that ultimately if we're going to grow our environment and enhance our experience for everyone around, I think it centers around that fan experience. And so I think we've done a great job of that, and appreciate people willing to express their opinions. I've often said that people are very passionate, which is a great thing. I think that's one of the great things about college athletics is people are very passionate about it. Can be construed as a negative sometimes, but I think ultimately people are passionate, which is a great thing.
Right. No, I love that. Even at Frisbee Dogs this past weekend at halftime,
Oh,
I didn't get a chance really to put eyes on them. I was working, but that's pretty cool. That helps to enhance the experience.
No question.
You had a couple of F-15s flying overhead, too, at the end of the national anthem. Captain Jackson Bengal Lau and Captain Andrew Spider Weber. There's no better code name than Spider
Great call
Weber.
Signs. Yeah, great call signs. We were actually talking, Kyle Kavanaugh were talking during the game that we're going to have to come up with call names or call signs for all of the senior staff on there. I said mine's easy. It's Poison because of my last name. So, so I think we can make that connection pretty easy. So.
Yeah, Poison definitely works. Or we can go with just Holder.
Yeah, you could do that. Yeah,
Holder,
that's
since
exactly
you were a
right.
punter and a holder for Stephen Gostkowski over at Memphis. Have you kicked any field goals recently? I know you had a mishap in the spring.
Well, I tried in the spring. Thanks for bringing that up, Kyle.
Yes.
It was a little bit worse than your mishap earlier, to be honest with you. But yeah, no, I haven't kicked in a long time. But I did try to come out to be a little special guest for the spring game. And what I've learned is my body doesn't go as fast as my mind does, especially as I've aged. And so I got out there and felt pretty good about myself. Was going to open it up a little bit and then pop my calf. And so that was not a fun few weeks afterwards. But I'm fully recovered from that, working on trying to get back there. So I told Sonny if he needed me for one kick, I was probably good for one, and that was it. So.
Very good. Well, John Hoya Chance, second Conference USA honor as the Specialist of the Week. He tied for the third longest field goal this past weekend at the Joe, 55 yards. And it was on that beautiful new track, Origin Bank Field at Joe IA Stadium. The new turf, it looks sweet. The pivot 1.5 by Hellas. What has been the feedback so far that you've received?
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, I've had some good conversations with the players. I think it really gives us a competitive advantage. It's different than most, synthetic fields that are out there that most institutions are playing on. So I think it gives us a competitive advantage from when the visiting team comes in. I think it's been softer. It certainly helps my back when I'm standing out there on the sideline. I don't get as stiff and as sore as I did last year, and I think it's been good on the players, and I think it's been something that the idea is for that product to mimic natural surface as much as possible. And that's why, when you look at the logos and the end zones and things that are sewn in, if you get down close to it, you'll see some of the green synthetic blades from the turf coming through, because the idea is once you paint a field, you're always going to have some of that green that's going to pop up through it. And so it's to mimic a natural surface as much as possible. And from my understanding and my research, this is as close of a synthetic surface out there that mimics a natural surface, which is what we're trying to get to.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's awesome. It's got that natural look.
Yeah.
The oversized state tee is another critical piece of this. It's not as big as what maybe you had experienced at Texas A&M Commerce, where that lion head extends past the 30s and even bleeds closer to each sideline. But I think that's an appropriate size. The brand, it's so strong, and it visually, it just hits different.
Yeah, no, I think that's the point, right? I think when you have an opportunity like a football field where there's going to be a lot of visibility around it just from a linear television broadcast or just our streaming aspect of it or the number of photos that are going to be posted on social media through our fans, like the idea is to be able to leverage that asset as something that can help you from a branding standpoint. And obviously the State T logo is a strong brand that we have, and it resonates with people. It certainly resonates with our fan base. I think people understand who we are when you look at it, right? It's something that has been around for a long time, and that has to do with the history and the tradition and the success that our football program has had, but also all of our other sports along the way, right? I mean, people associate success with that State T logo, and so we want to make sure that we have an opportunity to brand it accordingly.
Football is renewing a rivalry this weekend, Saturday night, 6:30, against Southern Miss, a future Sun Belt opponent and somebody that Tech had played regularly during the Conference USA days. So fans are encouraged to wear red every day throughout this week and two at the game for this red out on Saturday. Again, 6:30, our Tech tailgate will start with Teddy and Jerry and the whole gang at 5 o'clock on Saturday night. But this is both yours and my first experience of this particular rivalry, and I know it runs pretty deep between the Golden Eagles and the Bulldogs.
It does. I mean, again, when we talked about the opportunity to join the Sun Belt, I mean, that was one of the first things that we talked about was renewing regional rivalries, right? I mean, the opportunity that we had to get back to what makes college athletics special, which is the opportunity for us to get multiple people from multiple fan bases coming together, a chance for you to, again, quick trips, you know, those type of things where folks can certainly come and support their team. And I think that's really important for us. And I think this game has shaped up to be, you know, a really pivotal matchup for both of us from a non-conference standpoint. You look at the opportunity that both teams will have to really catapult themselves moving forward from a league standpoint, but also from, you know, bowl eligibility and opportunity to really position themselves for bowl games moving forward. And I really believe when come November, we're going to look back at this game and say this was a pivotal opportunity for us, and it's going to help us moving forward. And so it's just to be able to get those guys back on the schedule, having an opportunity to certainly get them inside Joe Ivey Stadium is really important, and hoping our fan base shows up big. I had the opportunity to play when I was at Memphis against Southern Miss. We were both in Conference USA at the time in what was called the Black and Blue Series. And I mean, I can remember those games, and that fan base is proud. They are rowdy, and they're looking to get after it, and they support the Golden Eagles. And so we're going to need the Bulldog Nation to show up big on Saturday.
Yeah, it should be an electric scene Saturday night at the Joe when you consider the amount of fans that Southern Miss certainly may be bringing to the 3-1-8. They're a 2-1 team, just beat Appalachian State at home. So a new coach and Charles Huff coming over from Marshall. If you need red, go to Patton's Downtown. Okay, there's Patton's Downtown. There's Patton's Western Wear. Dressed in press. Deck yourself and the fam out with everything you need to rep Tech. I think I should trademark that. Everything you need to rep Tech. Yeah. Rep Tech. Let's get in block lettering.
Brand it. Yeah, that's exactly
rep Tech.
Right. We should.
White bolded letters on a red shirt.
Do you have a royalty percentage that you would take from that, or is it?
No, but this is all part of a bigger master plan I have, you know, in trying to benefit off my mustache and maybe my fingernails, anything else.
I mean, the lip sweater is pretty strong.
Thank
I'm not going to lie.
It is.
Between you and Trevor last week, I mean, it's hard to determine who had one better.
Yeah, there was a lot of powerful facial hair in the room a week ago. But yeah, Patton's Downtown, Patton's Western Wear, hundreds of uniquely designed and officially licensed Bulldogs and Lady Texters apparel options are at Patton's Downtown in Ruston. You can find it all when you shop locally at Patton's, a North Louisiana tradition since 2007. Also this weekend against Southern Miss, will be celebrating the quarter-century team.
Yeah.
So what kind of excitement is there knowing there's going to be, obviously there's excitement, but what can fans expect of maybe some former Bulldogs coming through this weekend?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's an exciting time. I mean, you look at, the history of Louisiana Tech football, I mean, from 2000 to 24, right? I mean, there was a lot of success and a lot of opportunities for individuals that have come in here, had individual success, and then even went on to play and had success in the National Football League. And so the opportunity that we had to create this quarter-century team, shout out to Kane McGuire and his staff and things that they did from a sports information standpoint to gather all that data. And then a big shout to our fans for participating and engaging in that voting opportunities, but a chance to get them back to campus, to celebrate them, to create an opportunity for fans to relive those moments that have been pivotal to our growth as a football program in maintaining that storied history and tradition that we have and built upon the legacy really that this place is. I mean, it's going to be a great opportunity for us to celebrate them. We're going to have a Friday night reception for them and their families that are there. We've got a tailgate spot out there for them. For pregame. We'll recognize them at halftime and accordingly and what that looks like. We're also working on a potential opportunity maybe to have some sign some autographs at Argent Pavilion during that process from about 4:30 to 5 as well. So just, again, we want our fans to come out, support these guys, again, relive the moments, tell them and show them how much we appreciate what they did for this place and how they really helped put this place on the map.
It's awesome. It'll be an out-of-conference game on Saturday, 6:30 kick at the Joe, Louisiana Tech and Southern Miss, helping to celebrate some of the best Bulldogs over the last quarter century. Will it be a conference game next year or the year after? There's still some questions when it comes to membership for the Sun Belt Conference. What can you share with us here today on Tech Drive about the timeline as to when Louisiana Tech will officially enter the Sun Belt?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's been our goal from the very beginning, right, is to make sure that we get into Sun Belt as quickly as we can. We've been working with Conference USA, having those conversations right now. Feel very confident in where we are. Feel like we're at a good place to do that. We're kind of negotiating a little bit back and forth on really what this looks like. But I'm fairly confident, pretty confident that we're going to be there in 26. I think this is going to be a really good opportunity for us. I think it makes the most sense when you think about it again from the financial standpoint, but also from a student athlete welfare standpoint. We need to get there as quickly as we can, and so that's been our goal. And I really believe we'll be there. And you never say never in this business. I've learned that a long time ago, but I'm pretty confident we'll be there. So.
Am I the 20,000th person to ask that question?
Yeah, pretty close. Pretty close.
Yeah.
There's no prize for you, by the way,
for
being that number. But
I think everybody in the community of Ruston and this city has probably asked that question.
It is, but again, it goes back to, it's where I go back to my earlier comment about people are passionate, right? I think people are passionate about this move. It has created excitement, momentum, and energy for us. I think people see the trajectory of what this could do for our athletics department, but also what it could do for our community. You think about the economic development that we have on this community. I mean, to be able to get, fan bases to come up here that can travel, that are willing to spend money, right? And they're willing to stay in hotels or, go out to eat restaurants, those type of things. Like those are real dollars that really helps our community. And I think that's part of our responsibility from an athletics department standpoint, is to be able to make sure that we're creating those opportunities for our community.
Well, I don't promise, to your point, but that should be the last time I have to ask you that question. I would like to do this a little more regularly with you, whether it's per sports season, fall, winter, spring, but at least for sure we'll have you on again in the spring. We'll see if we get to you before the holiday. We want to talk to a lot of different folks. We don't want you to hog, all the camera.
I'd love to come on. I enjoy it, right?
Right.
I mean, if you keep making fun of Android users, I may not come on again. So.
I knew I was going to wear that one. Certified Android user right here to my right, Ryan Ivey, you and my father, and I give him grief over that all the time. So, but no, that's great. Yeah, people want to know. So to hear at least where we sit with Sunbelt membership, it's going to happen. And who knows, maybe next time we're in this setting, we should have more closure on when that is going to happen for Tech. The Origin Bank Center for Student Athlete Success. The timeline for that building, I know, has always been for the start of next year. start of next football season in the fall. Are we still tracking with the North End Zone project?
Yeah, right now we're still on schedule to open that building, which is going to be a fantastic building for our student athletes right at the beginning of fall quarter of next year. That's been our goal from the beginning, is try to get it open for fall quarter so that our student athletes can see that or be able to use it right when they start class. One of the great things about it is we won't have a lot of stuff to move from the old academic center over, so it should be a pretty seamless transition once we can get the doors open and get it furnished and really get those things going. Now, that's with who knows between now and then, right? I mean, weather always plays a factor in it. They've poured the concrete foundations here last week. I'm very hopeful we're going to be able to see some steel start to go up here fairly soon. And so I think once we get some of those things up and going, then I think you'll see that project really take a life of its own.
And really, it's a need when you consider the current Student Athlete Success Center as part of the TAC, and I've walked by it a few times, and now we're seeing with the students on campus and fall sports season in full swing and the winter season right around the corner. You're seeing student athletes in there, but it's small. There's not a lot to it.
Yep.
It's got kind of a dungeon-like feel to it in a lot of ways. And really, that's, I think, the charm of the TAC in many ways. When you're walking the underbelly of that facility, I really enjoy it. But there was a need, certainly, to upgrade and retrofit what our student athletes have academically, which does beg a question, too, in the stage of NIL and transfer portal and all of that, the funds and the resources. But, to provide and update and enhance that atmosphere, that environment, it's still mission critical.
It is. And I will say this, like, even in today's environment, like, we're still going to tie athletics to the academy, right? I mean, I think it's really important for us at our level to make sure that we're having that conversation with our student athletes, that it is still about education and the opportunity that they have here, to come here, get a world-class degree from Tech that resonates with the community, right? Not just the Ruston community, but the national community, even a global standpoint, right? And what we have. I mean, the opportunities that a tech degree opens up for our students, I think, is really, really important. And so making sure that we are continuously having that conversation of tying education back to what we do from an athletics department standpoint, I think is definitely mission critical in what we're doing. And so I think this building allows us to really put an emphasis on that, and allows us to create some opportunities to create some programming that we just really can't right now. It creates some really unique study spaces for our student athletes that in turn should create some collaboration amongst not just their own team and their own teammates, but within the student athlete community. And I've told them several times that no one knows what they go through on a daily basis better than each other. And so they need to make sure they're utilizing the collective genius in the room and supporting one another, helping one another, having conversations, collaborating across the board, because you'll never know. And a lot of times 18 to 23-year-olds don't want to hear this, but they're going to meet probably their future wife or their future husband. And there's this opportunity, right, of you can start that process and knowing, and I've seen it now being in college athletics for 25 years and being an administrator, for 20 years, that you just see this progression in this process with student athletes, and nothing is more nothing is more exciting than watching student athletes come back that said, "Oh, I was a football player, and then I met a soccer player, and we met in study hall, and then we started having conversations, and we had the same class." And it's just this progression of their family and what that looks like starts back to one singular moment. And I think this building allows us to have that collaboration and what that looks like. And I think that's going to be really important.
That's really cool. I hadn't even thought about it in that way. The academic progression, the professional progression, but to the personal progressions that you're making and what this facility can do. And I know there'll be some additional premium seating opportunities potentially, and even helping to open up that space to outside groups or businesses. The multi-enhancement project at the Joe includes a future Coaches Legacy Plaza southwest corner of the Joe, correct?
Correct.
This will feature statues. The plan is to feature a statue of Joe IA and Maxi Lambright. Where are we with that endeavor?
Yeah, so really close to getting dirt started. I think once we get that ground broken, it's about a 60 to 75 day project, so shouldn't take too long. I think the area that we've laid out is there's not a lot of site work and site planning that has to be done, so should get that here pretty soon. I think our fans will see that during this football season, and hopefully by the time we get to Thanksgiving or somewhere around in there, we'll have it prepped and ready, and hopefully we'll be able to do some kind of ribbon cutting ceremony to that facility. I mean, it's going to be a great opportunity for us to, again, to recognize, at least two individuals that have meant so much to this athletics department and obviously our football program. And you think about the legacy and the history of both Coach Ivey and Coach Lambright, like it is pretty significant with the accomplishments that both those individuals are able to have. And so I have a photo of Coach Ivey in my office. I actually have his induction plaque from the National Football and College Football Hall of Fame when he was inducted years ago, and it's a great reminder that if I ever think I've done something, I've got a long way to go compared to that individual, because both he and Coach Lambright both have meant so much and have really are synonymous with Tech.
Yeah, incredible fixtures here at the university. Volleyball, soccer, golf, all underway. Matt Terry has been sending me photos relentlessly of Chicago-centric food items, many of which I suggested to him. So now, he's just making me salivate over here as the golf team off what I thought was a master class at Squire Creek. Again, the amount of hands that have to, work in pulling things in one direction to pull off an event with 17 teams or so that were on site at Squire Creek a week ago. But with golf and fall tennis starting at the end of this week, even had cross country. I think it was tennis is in Lafayette this weekend, but cross country had an event this past weekend. I think at Northwestern State, finished 5th and 4th. Women's soccer is opening up. CUSA play here on Friday night against UTEP, 7 o'clock. That's another red out opportunity here as part of the weekend with Southern Miss here for football. But so many opportunities to support the Dogs. I mean, we are percolating every step of the way from an athletic standpoint.
There's no question. I mean, again, fall sports season obviously in full swing. We're going to turn around twice, and we're going to have hoops up and going as well. I mean, that's the one great thing I think about college campuses, right? And you think about the idyllic relationship that we have with the Ruston community, and this being the idyllic college town, is that there's always something for someone to do, right? An opportunity for someone to come out and support our student athletes. I think it's really invaluable, and our student athletes see it. I've told our community and our fan bases all the time, and I've encouraged them. Look, whether it's athletics or the theater majors that are putting on plays or whatever it may be. I mean, these students put so much into perfecting their craft and learning and growing that people need to come see them. I mean, I've often said that there's nothing more exhilarating than playing in front of a full house, and there's nothing more disheartening than playing in front of an empty one, because these student athletes and our students in general, they work so hard on their craft to really represent this university. So just want to encourage people to come out, support these kids and what they're doing. They're getting an opportunity to do something they love, and it's going to help mold them and shape them to be better people later on.
Well said. We're inside of 50 days to the start of basketball season. Bowling will start first week of October. Also, the return of the Bradshaw Brooks Golf Tournament. I mentioned Squire Creek. That'll be coming up in October as part of Homecoming, which is Halloween weekend. What details can you share about that? How is it? What's been the early feedback and really anticipation of people trying to get involved in something that hadn't been around since COVID, right? Like pre-COVID was the last time.
I think 2018 was the last time the Bradshaw Brooks Golf Tournament was held again. So you can't thank Terry and Kicks enough. I mean, two phenomenal ambassadors of this university, right? And they continue to tout this place, continue to be involved, and so being able to bring back this golf tournament, I think is really important for us. Obviously, it helps us from a fundraising standpoint. There's no question. But I think the engagement piece, the excitement of having two icons back on campus during homecoming week is really important. We're going to do a little bit different than what we've done in the past. Obviously, in the past, it was done in the spring. And so we had two flights, had a morning flight and an afternoon flight, had a reception the night before and some other things going on. This year, we're just going to have one flight. It's being done on that Friday before the game. We've got 22 teams. We're already sold out on our teams. But we do have some opportunities for some sponsors, some sponsorships for folks that are interested or businesses really that are interested. Can't thank our friends at Origin Bank enough for their willingness to be the presenting sponsor of this golf tournament. I mean, it's a tremendous financial help for our department, and all the funds raised, all the net revenue raised goes back to really invest in our student athletes. And I think those are the things that are really important for us.
Well, 2 weeks, I think, since the announcement, and already sold out.
Yeah,
already,
it was quick.
Yeah.
It didn't. And again, I think that's the power of Kix and Terry too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, who they are, and the opportunity that people have to visit with two of those individuals. But also, I think it's the power of Squire Creek, right? I mean, it is. I'm blessed that I get a chance to live across the street in what I call the redneck part of it. That's where the gate is. The gate's there to keep us in, not really, keep others, us coming in right on that side of it. But I mean, that place is phenomenal. Mm-hmm. And I think what the Davison family has done out there, how they've developed it, but also how they open their doors to really this community and allow us to utilize that facility. I mean, it is as good as any place that I've ever been, and the opportunity that people have to come play golf there. I know when I get out there, I get my butt kicked all the time on that golf course, but a chance to play that course is really, really special.
And driving tech athletics into the future in the world of NIL and transfer portal, I mean, fundraising is as significant as it's ever been in helping to the connection between Tech and Ruston and the community, but it's at an all-time high in terms of the importance of really leaning into these relationships, the people of northern Louisiana, and two, tapping into those who have such a critical past, like Bradshaw and Brooks to this university. But needing help from others is as critical as it ever has been.
There's no question. I mean, now more than ever in the state of college athletics, do we need people to help us and really help drive us from a financial standpoint. I mean, I've often told our folks that there's been no other time in the history of college athletics do people have the opportunity to have a direct impact on winning and losing now. Maybe beforehand when things were going on underneath the table, you felt like you did, but now more than ever, we have the opportunity to directly affect winning and losing. And I think while a lot of attention gets paid to post-house settlement and codifying house settlement in a way that allows for direct revenue share payments, I think what gets lost in the shuffle is that we now get the opportunity to enhance scholarship opportunities for student athletes across all of our sports. And so that's one of the things that we're really leaning into is the opportunity that we want to try to fully fund as many of these scholarships in sports as we can based on the codification of the house settlement. And so for us to be able to do that, we need people to help us, right? And so you think about baseball that used to be at 11.7 scholarships. Now with the scholarship maximums being eliminated and having roster limits, that we could scholarship up to 34 baseball student athletes. And the impact on that alone with our baseball program would be huge. And the opportunity that we could utilize those funds to help us recruit and retain student athletes, I think is a big part of who it is that we can be, and it can create some competitive advantages for us.
Love it. You've got a athletic department to go run, and certainly your time is precious. But just one final thought from you, and I've said this to others and my family and people whom I've left in North Carolina or back home in Chicago. For me, I don't think there's a better tag team between a university president and an athletic director in the country than what we have between Dr. Jim Henderson and Ryan Ivey. How would you describe the synergy, the alignment that you each have? But two, you've been here a year and a half on the job. that can extend to everybody at the university and on the athletic department side.
Yeah, I think that's one of the great things about this place. I mean, obviously, Dr. Henderson was a big reason why I took the job. I had a good job at Stephen F. Austin before I came here. I felt like the connection that Dr. Henderson and I had throughout the interview process, I thought was very strong. I loved his vision for this place, his relentless pursuit for excellence. I think his understanding of college athletics, his passion for college athletics, and understanding how it can help grow the institutional profile, I think is really, really critical, because a lot of institutions don't have that. And so the ability for us to come together, I think we have a great balance. I think he is very passionate and he is very out front in some things, probably a little bit more than I am on it. But I think that's a great balance between us, because I come in with information and I can say, hey, look, here's what I'm seeing. Here's what's going on in the landscape. Here's the recommendations that I have. And then how do we grow that? And I think that partnership extends to the university leadership as well. I think we've got great leaders from a university leadership standpoint. We have an opportunity, I think, at this place to really do something special that I think will set this place up for the next 100 years. And so I'm excited that athletics is a part of it. I'm excited that it's a pillar of that process for what it is. But understanding that while it is important, and athletics is very important to who we are and what we do, it's still not the most important thing that we do on this campus. And I think understanding that perspective helps all of us understand that we're part of it together, and we need to be in it together and create opportunities for us to learn and grow, and certainly grow the institutional profile.
Beautiful. Vice President, Director of Athletics, Ryan Ivey, appreciate you stopping by Tech Drive.
Appreciate you, brother. You did a good job today. So
thank you. Outside of the one blunder to start, I almost yelled at everyone. Really, I was yelling at myself. I was disappointed. I'm a one-take, Sally. So
well,
is what it is.
No one's perfect.
I came in all fired up. It's beat Southern Miss week.
It is. That's exactly right.
I'm ready to strap in and buckle my own chin strap and get after someone. We'll do this again soon. I appreciate you so much.
Appreciate you.
Again, thank you for listening, watching, however it is that you consume the Tech Drive. We appreciate you so much. Plenty more content coming up this week. We'll be at Rotolo's Craft and Crust Thursday at 6 o'clock. If you can't join us, you can listen live along the network. Sports Talk 97.7, the La Tech Athletics app as well. But also, the show will be available on the Tech Drive podcast feed. We'll have additional content coming up this week ahead of Southern Miss, including on Friday with an exclusive interview that Jerry Bird will have. For GB, Cav, Jack, Carson, and Ryan Ivey, I'm the voice of the Bulldogs, Kyle Schasberger, and this has been the Tech Drive.